Hey guys, today we're going to look at the mysterious Angkor Wat temple in Cambodia, which has many strange secrets hidden inside. Historians say it was built about 900 years ago with simple tools. But by the end of this video, I think you will agree with me that this is not true at all. You may have already known that this is the largest religious monument in the world. But how big is this temple? The temple stretches more than 400 acres, that is more than 3 times the size of the entire Vatican City, or about 300 times the size of an American football field. So you can imagine the size of this temple. Even if we take out all the walking space and empty land, the sheer area covered by stone blocks is at least 10 million square feet. And we're not looking at just a two-dimensional ground area. We have to look at the volume in 3D because it is made of layers and layers of stone blocks, pillars, ceiling, and towers. The iconic central towers in the middle, which almost look like drill bits. They're still the tallest structures in the city, even after all these years. The central tower is 213 feet tall, and this view is actually printed on the flag of Cambodia. So imagine what would be the sheer volume of rocks needed to build a temple that stretches for 10 million square feet and has a pyramidal height of more than 200 feet. If we calculate the weight of all the sandstone blocks which make up this pyramid, we get about 52 million tons of rock. I have used a calculator to calculate this weight using the density of sandstone. Now, we have already not included the rocks in the foundation. We have not included the millions of stone blocks going many feet deep in the moat and the rocks placed around the moat. And that's already 52 million tons of rock. Now, what I'm going to do is take only 20% of this number. So this way we know this is a very, very conservative estimate because Angkor Wat is not a true solid pyramid. There are lots of hollow spaces in between. Let's actually take even less than 20%. We'll only take 10 million tons. So this way, we know at least this much of rocks would have been used to build this temple. Okay, so why are we calculating the weight of the stone blocks in this temple? Because archaeologists and historians argue that the entire temple was built in just 37 years. You know the standard theory, people using chisels and hammers to build temples. Now, let's assume that these people worked from sunrise to sunset every day for 37 years. So they worked straight for 12 hours with no breaks. They don't eat. They don't even blink. And no rainy days, no war, no festivals for 37 years. That's a total of 162,060 hours. So if you do the math, if you divide the amount of rocks by the number of hours, this is the answer we get. Approximately 60 tons every hour. This means that they would have to cut and place at least 60 tons of rock every hour. This is 1 ton of rock every minute. So for every minute, they have to measure, cut, carve, lift, and place and align 1 ton of rock. This is simply impossible. We cannot accomplish this even today. Even with modern machinery, we have not yet developed the technology to cut, position, and polish 1 ton of rock every minute. That's more than 2,000 pounds of rock every minute, or 1,000 kilograms every minute. But there's something even more bizarre about this temple. There's no rock quarry anywhere nearby. So, where did all these rocks come from? Archaeologists have located two different quarry sites from which the rocks have been cut and transported. The main sandstone quarry is from Phnom Kulen Mountain, which is about 50 miles away. So today, with modern vehicles, modern equipment, and good roads, imagine the amount of time needed to move 10 million tons from a mountaintop 50 miles away to this location. Remember how ancient builders processed 1 ton every minute? This 1 minute must also include transporting these rocks from 50 miles away. So, to put the mainstream theory in a nutshell, this is what happened 900 years ago. Every minute, ancient builders were cutting 1 ton of rock from a hilltop, transported this 1 ton of rock for 50 miles, measured it, cut it, lifted it, and aligned it, polished it, and even carved on this 1 ton block. All this happened within that 1 minute, and they were doing this without even blinking for a second every day for 37 years. Do you honestly think this is possible? The standard archaeological theory is very conventional. You take a lot of elephants and bullock carts and a lot of slaves. You cut the rocks from the mountain using primitive tools like chisels and hammers, move them using elephants on land, and put the stones on primitive boats and move them in water, and again use elephants on land and reach the temple location. If this is how they worked 900 years ago, looking at the sheer volume of rocks in the temple, it would have taken many centuries to build Angkor Wat. Now we understand why this temple is printed on the flag of Cambodia, because it's a giant mystery. I've shown you hundreds of ancient temples on my channel, but this temple's architecture is completely unique. It does not resemble any other Hindu temple in India, and it also does not resemble any other temple in Cambodia. It has 5 unique drill bit-shaped towers in the central structure. There are 12 staircases built around them in perfect angles, all leading into the same central chamber. This architecture is not seen anywhere in the world, which indicates that the builders did not copy from anybody. They were absolute original thinkers. And what's even more strange, none of the future generations even dared to copy Angkor Wat Temple. Nobody could even conceive or attempt to build another temple like Angkor Wat. This is why this ancient temple has remained the largest temple forever, right? Today, humans build a new tallest structure every 10 years. Some country builds the new tallest building, and within a few years, another country will build a structure taller than that. But that has not happened to Angkor Wat. It has remained the largest religious monument for at least 900 years. Not only is Angkor Wat designed with grandness and originality, it was also built in alignment with the heavens. The original name of Angkor Wat was Paramavishnu Loka, which means the sacred world of Lord Vishnu. And the architect made sure he aligned this temple with the heavenly bodies. Every year, on a specific day, tens of thousands of tourists from around the world come to the city. This day is called the equinox, where the daytime is exactly equal to the nighttime. All the tourists wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and rush to the temple to see the sunrise. Why? Because this is how the sun rises when you see it from the entrance, and this happens only on this day. How could they have calculated and built it with this incredible astronomical precision? But this is just the tip of the iceberg. The temple is built with so many details about astronomy, we can write an entire book about it. For example, here is the sun god Surya. He is the personification of the sun according to Hinduism. But look below him. You see these guys doing namaste to Surya? Who are these guys? Who depends on the sun in our solar system? The planets, of course. Let's count the number of guys. And you will count 9 planets, including the dwarf planet Pluto. But this is crazy because textbooks say Pluto was discovered only in 1930, less than just a century ago. And Pluto cannot be seen unless you have a high-powered telescope. Even Neptune, which is the 8th planet from the Sun, is said to be discovered by Galileo only about 400 years ago. Yet, the Sun and 9 planets were carved at least 900 years ago in Angkor Wat. How do we explain this? If Angkor Wat was built by people using primitive tools, how did they know about Neptune and Pluto? The entire temple was built as a giant symbol of cosmology. Originally, it had a total of 12 towers, symbolizing the 12 signs of zodiac. But they were destroyed by the people who came later. This is why some of the towers have been flattened. It's sad to see such a beautiful monument face plenty of destruction. So, who built this temple and who tried to destroy it? Archaeologists argue that this temple was built by a king called Suryavarman, who was a Hindu, and after his death, he was immediately succeeded by his own son, who became a Buddhist. So the father builds the world's greatest temple, and what does the son do? The son did nothing but destroy all the Hindu carvings carved by his own father and created a few Buddhist carvings. Now, let's take a look at the son's work. Here's the main Buddha statue, supposedly carved by the son. But right away, you realize that this is really bad quality carving. You can see multiple stone blocks, and the stones have not even been joined properly. I refuse to believe that this poor quality work was done by the same builders who built Angkor Wat. Take a look at this pillar. You see how smooth this is? This was built by the original builders. And you may think this pillar is made of one stone. Of course, you don't see any joints. But that's not true. Look at this line. This is not one block of stone. It is 2 blocks perfectly aligned. In fact, you see pillar after pillar. Tourists wondering about how ancient builders cut these giant stone pillars made of one block, while they're all actually made of several stone blocks but aligned perfectly. This is the level of quality of the original ancient builders. Now, let's go back to the Buddha statue. This is a terrible alignment. You can literally see all the stone blocks, and you sort of have to tolerate this. What's even worse, this is one of the main Buddha statues in the temple. So this is the top quality Buddha they could make. This raises a lot of doubt about what really happened. According to mainstream theory, there's not much difference in timeline. The father made Hindu carvings and the son made Buddhist carvings. And it was the same dynasty. It's not like some barbaric invaders came from somewhere else, captured this site, and made terrible carvings because they did not know how to carve. The son would have had access to the same sculptors and stoneworkers. Yet, why is this Buddha looking so bad? There is something fundamentally wrong with this theory. It seems obvious that the carvings, which were done later, were created by a primitive group of people, while the original temple was built by a very advanced civilization. It was definitely not built by the same group of people or even their immediate descendants. Many centuries must have passed between these two civilizations. Forget about the quality, let's look at the size. Here's another structure. This is a Buddhist stupa built by the primitive builders in the site of Angkor Wat. Look at the size of this stupa and compare it with the size of Angkor Wat. It's a lot less than 1% of Angkor Wat's size. Look at how basic it is, and it's falling apart. Not because somebody has destroyed it, it's falling apart because of nature, because it was not built strong enough. This is clear evidence that this stupa was not built by the same civilization who built the Angkor Wat temple. It was clearly built by a very inferior civilization which came much later in time. This is the logical conclusion because the original construction is simply far superior in terms of size, quality, and construction techniques. So, who really built Angkor Wat? Was it built 900 years ago? Or is it a much older structure? One thing is clear, what we hear from historians is not the full picture. Angkor Wat could not have been built in 37 years using primitive tools. Now, it's your turn to tell me how they built it. How was it built? Was it built with advanced technology, which would have reduced the time? Did they build it for many centuries using primitive tools? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I am PraveenMohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell button to get all the updates. Please give it a thumbs up and do share it with your friends. I will talk to you soon. Bye.